problem, but don't quote me, that if you're talking to people who see religious significance to Christmas...
Okay, I don't know where he gets this from, right? But he's supposed to be a Dayan, so maybe he's read it somewhere. I've never read that. My own rabbi has never read that. I don't know where he gets that from. I don't know. Maybe he's read that there's a difference on who you're telling it to. I've never seen that, okay? What I have seen is that there's people, it's like two opinions. You know? Okay, by the way, if you were friends with if you have a relationship with a Dayan, and that Dayan is not listed in your blog, then you should ask him your questions.
I've asked these questions too.
No, but you're asking a question about pellets.
I've asked the question.
So why are you asking me?
Because we have a show.
Ah, okay, next thing. Okay, let's talk about the Persia.
Wait, one more thing. Gregory says that 1,000 years of inbreeding creates ugly women.
He's going to pick up a lot of chicks in that chat room.
Did Esther have a heter to be intimate with Achashverosh?
Let's learn to say this. I'm getting tired of this already.
Did Esther have a heter to
be... not heter. Heter.
Did Esther have a heter to be with Achashverosh?
Yes.
Okay. How do you get one of those?
Did somebody ask that in there?
Yes. AMC. Believe it or not.
Because she was going to save the Jewish people. So it's a matter of life or death. That was basically the, that's it.
Okay, in this week's Pasha, the end of last week's Pasha, Moshe really tears into God.
Does he?
And kind of rebukes God and says, you're creating surahs for the Jewish people. Abraham asks God questions, but Moshe dresses God down. And one of the things that we learn from the Torah is God never punishes people for getting angry at him.
Who said Moshe was angry?
He said, "Look at the evil you've done."
Show me the words. What are you going to pull out? What's it going to be?
The out scroll.
Out scroll. Okay, good. Because nowadays you don't have to learn or think. You just have to. What was it? What did the guy write?
Just thank out scroll and the Gedolim. So Moshe returns to Hashem. Chapter 5, verse 22 of Exodus. My Lord, why have you done evil to this people? Why have you sent me? From the time I came to Paro to speak in your name, he did evil to this people, but you did not rescue your people.
Where do you see anger in that?
My Lord, why have you done evil to this people?
Can't you just be having an intellectual conversation?
No, not when you accuse God of doing evil. That's not an intellectual conversation.
You know when I know there's
you don't have intellectual conversations like saying, "Oh, Raz, why did you do evil to?"
Okay, let's try this. Right? Tell me if this is which show, and let the viewers decide. Let the viewers decide. Right? You folks in the chat room, you can decide which one of these shows anger. Okay? If I say Levi, I think you've done some horrible, evil things. Does that tone, yes or no, sound angry?
No,
okay?
It sounds very unlike you.
But if I say, Levi, what the fuck? Right? Does that...
Family with kids.
Okay,
like,
okay, I'm sorry. Right? Does that sound angry or not?
That sounded angry.
That sounded angry?
Sounded like you.
So I'm saying that words on their own, in an intellectual capacity, don't necessarily bring out the emotion of anger. I know anger. I grew up in a family of anger.
Really?
Yes.
You'd never know.
No, I keep it hidden.
Yeah, you really keep that buried. How do you mask it? A lot of years of therapy.
What did they say?
Don't worry, they're just...
Did anybody comment?
So Moshe tears into God.
They're not even paying attention. All right.
They're picking each other up.
That's good. All right, go ahead.
We are more similar to the Jews of Egypt than to the patriarchs. The patriarchs saw God in every act. Jews in Egypt didn't see God everywhere. If they did, they would see him as a slave master. art scroll on Exodus 6:4, because the patriarchs' attitude toward this world was that they were but temporary sojourners, and that their true residence was in the heavenly world of the Spirit. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Why not?
The patriarchs never say anything about the heavenly world of the Spirit.
Well, they realize that this is just a peruse door, that this is just a world, is a, what do you call
passageway.
A passageway to the next world. So that's why Abraham, like the Akedah, that's why he was willing to take his son. You know, he didn't complain, he didn't bitch and moan. He just took his son there and was going to shack them up. Because it's whatever God says, because it doesn't really matter what you care about in this world. We're just figments in God's imagination.
And the score is New Orleans 10, Atlanta 7. AMC wants to know who's winning the football game. So New Orleans by 3 points. Third quarter, 6 minutes to go. It's about
6:13, by the way.
48 degrees outside in Pico Robertson.
12 degrees. All right, so go to the next thing.
Okay, and I'm just rolling the hits here. This week's Parsha is Vayera, which starts with the 6th chapter of Exodus and goes up to chapter 9, verse 35. It's hard to love God and to love people. If you love people, you feel bad for their suffering and you have some resentment towards God. It's kind of hard to love God if you love people. If you're in love with God and you have this wonderful relationship with God, it's easy to care less about people. So, like if you study Torah 8 hours a day, there's hours you're not spending helping people, visiting the sick, lending money that you can give to people who need it, or lend money to people who need it. That's kind of like a more abstract love of God more than love of man. So Rabbi Rabs, what is your ratio of love of God to love of man?
First you reveal.
I would say that I love man by 3 to 1 over loving God.
Really? So what are you doing for mankind that you think is so loving?
I teach Torah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I'm trying to clean up the porn industry. That's I spent my life helping mankind.
I blog.
I'm a blogger. I want respect.
I try to comfort lonely, sad, attractive women.
You asked me the question.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I'm probably 90% love for God. Even though it's a love-hate relationship, but 90% of my time is for God. I don't have any doings with people. But then on the other hand, I probably don't realize how much time I spend when people email me questions, and I'm constantly answering questions for people. So sometimes it swings the other way, and I'm like caught up all day answering people's questions and helping them and stuff and whatever. But I'm going to say I'm mostly with God because I don't leave my house. I don't have anything to do with people. And, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you something that happened a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I left your house.
It was Shabbos. It was Friday night. I haven't told anybody this. I have not told anybody this story.
I've never done this before with anyone.
I'm going to break the story right now in front of the world because I have not told anyone this story. You ready?
Yeah.
So it was a Friday night. Maybe it was like a month ago or two. I don't know. It was because they all blend together. So it was a Friday night, and I was eating by myself Shabbos dinner, right? And because I didn't go to anybody's house, and I didn't go to shul, and I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't go out. I was available at home, and I got a knock on my door by a neighbor, and I was able to open the door because I stayed home, because I don't go out. Mm-hmm. And like this old man who's the father had fallen down.
Oh.
In their apartment. So I went over there and I had to pick him up.
Did you ask first if he was Jewish?
He is Jewish.
Oh, okay.
It's my neighbors.
If he was not Jewish, would you have picked up the phone for 911?
I didn't pick up the phone.
I know, but if...
What kind of stupid questions are those? Well, first of all, I didn't pick up. I didn't call 911.
No,
I had nothing to do with that.
Question.
If the guy needed 911, I would call. He didn't. He just needed to be picked up because he fell. He was an old man and he fell, so he needed to be picked up. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but you asked, like, do I help people?
Yeah.
My point is, if they come to me, if the opportunity comes to me, I help people. but I don't really go out of my way.
Oh, you picked me up from the hospital.
I picked you up from the hospital. That's right.
You gave me that penicillin shot when I had the cyst.